Hello, everybody. Hey, how you doing? Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a very good one, and I'll get to that in a moment. While we're waiting on folks to join, be sure to go to coopedup.com to check out my content that I post there. If you're on other social channels, be sure to follow me, especially on Instagram. I'm Cooped Up is my handle there. Wherever you are watching or listening, be sure to click the bell or whatever notification system they have so that you know when I post new stuff. And last but not least, send me a text, 214-949-8599. Just send me one that says, hey, and I'll add you to my list. Or I just send out random alerts. I'm planning to do something with Amazon Prime Day, which is that next week? Maybe in 2 weeks. I can't remember. The mid 20-something of June. I'll be sending out some updates on that. So, hey, Mama. Hey, love the scarf. So this is what I wore this weekend, and I'll get to that in a moment. So this weekend there was a lot of stimulation happening this weekend. And I know that sounds more salacious and crazy sounding than I mean it to, but it was Mason's birthday, and we started the birthday by Friday evening. We went to Dave & Buster's with some friends. I will tell you, I have never realized how, Dave & Buster's is just, I was exhausted after we left there from a year of quarantining to go there, which is the stimulus. Just between the sounds. And for those of you who don't know, Dave & Buster's is one of these places where it's like you eat there and they have a million video games and all that kind of stuff. You end up spending like $300. That's a whole other thing. But so we had dinner there. It's like Chuck E. Cheese for adults is exactly right, Bentley. But the kids love it too. We went, that's where Mason wanted to go for his birthday. And it is so loud. It is so big. It is so full of people. It is every sense, like from the video, get the sense of smell, from the food, sound, just constant sound. And I've just been in a Vegas casino recently. This place, I was like, Todd, I don't know. I had to keep leaving the video game section and going back to the table where we had dinner, just so I could and it was still loud there because they had all these games going. Mavericks game, I think, basketball was playing. But it was just like, turn it off. It was just, I did not realize how overwhelming that was. And just in general, like we've been there a million times, right? You don't realize how emotionally stimulated you are. Not emotionally, what's the word? Like just stimulate your what's the word I'm looking for? Your sensory stimulation, that's what it is until you get in one of these places and you're like, holy shit, that is a lot going on. Hey, Dave. So we did that, but it was a good time. And then the kids had a little mini sleepover that night with two of our friends. They're such close friends that their kids are kind of like nieces and nephews. And then we had a Saturday evening, our school had its annual fundraiser, which was canceled last year. And this year it was delayed. It was on the edge of being canceled. And then it got delayed until June. And then, everything changed. And so it was great. And Jackie, don't worry, I have not talked about it. Is this what you wore to the charity event you went to? Generally, yes. So the theme of it was Summer in the City. And it was supposed to be, you're supposed to wear like colorful cocktail attire is what you were supposed to wear. And I didn't know what that meant. And nothing fits me anymore. And these creative things. And I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is, so I wore all black. So I wore not this shirt exactly. I wore a long sleeve version of this. Black pants, black shoes. The pants were a little bit short so that you can see some ankle because there was that. And then I was like, I'm going to get this scarf and get some color. And I have these collar stays. They're called Workin' Stiff or Workin' Stiffs, I guess. And they're magnetic. And so they're like super strong magnets. So it normally keeps your collar up. Well, I used them here. I put one like right here, under here, and one right here, under here, so that this would hold in place. It held beautifully all night because otherwise it keeps moving. So it held beautifully. I had it kind of asymmetrical off to the side. I look like a freaking pride float which was appropriate because it was Pride weekend here in Dallas as well. So wore that. I had my ring on also. You know, I don't know if I've seen this. I wear it randomly. So my wedding ring finger has gotten, see, it doesn't bend any, or it bends, it doesn't straighten out anymore. My arthritis has really settled into that finger in particular for some reason, and I can't wear my wedding ring anymore. And so I finally went on early in the pandemic, like this would have been like April or May of last year. Carrie and I were talking about it, and she said, "Oh, you should get this ring that Courtney Kerr, who's this influencer that we all love, all of that." And it is cubic zirconia. It's from Home Shopping Network, HSN. I love some home shopping, QVC and HSN. But I bought it so that I could wear it, and I bought the biggest size, and I can also just put it on other fingers too. It actually doesn't. I tell you, I don't know if it's my drinking or age or what, but my joints are all kind of swelling. But I was wearing this, and people were like, "Oh my God, Cooper, that ring! Oh my, what would you do?" People thought it was legitimately diamonds, y'all, and who am I to spoil that for them? I only told a couple of people. I was like, it was like $80 on HSN. Who am I to spoil that for them? But it was hilarious. But it was all in all a fun night. This was a great outfit. It was not fussy. It was me, but not like too crazy over the top. Kelly saying no shame in QVC and HSN. I love it. And if Todd's out of town and the kids are gone with him or something, I will pour a glass of wine and watch some HSN and QVC. I'll bounce between like QVC 1, QVC 2, QVC 3, HSN. And I am known to just kind of buy one of everything. One time I bought some Saint-Tropez self-tanner. Then the next thing that was on was a chainsaw on a pole. So I bought a pole saw, is what it's called. And then the next thing was a noiseless oscillating fan. Bought all three of those. So my wife lost hers. HSN, here we come. It's Diamonique is the name of it. And it actually comes, it's all the squares, but it comes in different shapes. And you can get it in colors and all that kind of stuff. So, and my mama says she saw a picture with me and I looked very nice. Yes. Thank you. It was a fun evening. Raised a shit ton of money for our school. Yeah, it was a great time. And it was fun seeing all of these families that I'd not seen. Here's the weirdest thing, though, that I realized at this event. So new families to our school, so like pre-K families and like kindergarten families, their entire families where their child is the only person who has actually stepped inside our school because our school has been on lockdown. No adults are allowed in the building since quarantine. Like you're still not, I've been in the building as president of the board twice since March of 2020. And so a lot of these people applied, or one of them may have done a tour, like the mom or the dad well before that. But for a lot of them, they just signed up and they're like, well, we got to go with the reputation of the school. So they're like, we've never stepped, and they've never met in person, many of the other families. So it was a really, really fun time to reconnect with people, to meet new people. There are people that I see on the trail that are like, oh, you live in the house across from the tennis courts. I'm like, oh, you're the ones that have the baseball cap and pull the wagon. It was really kind of fun. So, and that felt so good. I mean, it was, and it was a great event. I'm not discounting the quality of the program or anything like that. It was a fantastic event. They did not do assigned seating. There actually was just very few tables, and it was mostly like standing tables and little counters and stuff. Brilliant idea because it made everyone socialize, and it wasn't just everyone sitting at a table listening to something. Good time. They had a band dancing, and it felt so good to like be with friends again and the parents of the kids. Classmates and all that. So it was a good time. And I hope that we keep that feeling. I don't want, pre-pandemic, we were doing so much social stuff that sometimes I would be like, oh, well, I guess I have to. I'm shitting myself to death. I really should go to this and I should do that, right? I'm not doing that anymore. So, also the kids got, my allergies today. So I have a question on I did not have this on the card. My allergies are insane today because right before we get big storms, which we've had storms all day today, I always get like a really bad allergy attack. And it almost feels like the barometric pressure is causing it because my eyes get real tight and swollen and all of that. A lot of pressure. So this year has been particularly bad for allergies for me. And I don't know if is it the same for any of y'all? And I mean, I've always been a seasonal allergy sufferer, not in the spring so much as in the summer, as in the fall, but I've always needed a little Claritin help here and there, all that kind of stuff. But this season has been like something else. And I'm wondering, like, is it the freeze that we had? And now everything is just like all the trees are trying to have all the tree sex they can with the pollen. Like, is that it? Or is it the vaccine? Is there a reaction? I hope it's not that. I doubt it's that. Is it that? Is it that we've been used to wearing masks so much that now we're like freebasing air and we're getting more allergen in our system? I don't know. Jackie's saying, I thought it was supposed to get better after rain. Mine only gets worse. Mine is immediately before it rains. It's almost like there's a cloud, like a pollen storm that's being pushed in front of the storms. Like the morning of the storm, I'm like, and then the storm comes through. And sometimes I get better. Sometimes I don't. Eric is saying he's taken more allergy medicine this year than he has in a long time. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's weird. So I bet part of it is the mask. I also bet part of it is that my house is kind of dusty right now because we still have not rehired a housekeeper since all of this went down. And we're not afraid anymore. It's just one more thing I gotta fucking do is find a housekeeper. So, and we've been doing a pretty good job. There's still a little bit of dust, more dust than normal in here. But yeah. And speaking of the rain, I mean, it is 40 days and 40 nights of rain here lately. I saw on Facebook earlier that friends are having issues that are gardeners. Their tomatoes are exploding on the vine. On the vine, the tomatoes are breaking open because there's so much water. I guess the plants just suck it up as long as they can. And it is causing, they're getting just engorged with water and they're splitting. And sometimes they split and then they heal back up and they split and they heal back up. Isn't that crazy? I didn't know that could happen. Blake is saying there isn't much pollution to dilute it now. Yeah, I guess that is true. Like before it was like, oh, the ozone is hurting my head. And now I'm like, oh, maybe it's not the ozone, it's the pollen. I don't know. Mason and Claire both got their second vaccine. No, Claire got her second vaccine. Mason got his first on Saturday morning. And I made a rookie mistake, y'all. I should know better than this, but always put the anxiety-prone child first and the dramatic one second. Did not do that. So Mason gets up on the table, and Claire's already had one shot, by the way, and she's the one who's more like reticent about stuff like this. Mason gets up on the table, it's at the pediatrician's office, and they give him the shot, and he immediately goes, oh my gosh, my arm, I can't move my arm. And he throws himself off the table. There's like a bench in there, and he's laying writhing in pain, totally hamming it up. I can't move my arm, I can't move my arm. Meanwhile, Claire's like, and I'm like, Claire, it's the exact same shot you've already had. You had it 3 weeks ago. It's the exact same one. I don't want it. And so she's tensing up on there. And the nurse is like, you got to relax, baby. You got to relax. And then she's staring at her arm. I'm like, no, so I'm holding her head, turning her, trying to get her to relax. Finally, they go for it and it's done. But the antics crack me up. But he's just like, my arm. And then all the rest of the day, he's kind of walking around like he's got a lame. Is it lame? Is that the right word? You have a lame arm that doesn't move anymore. So Jackie's garden. Oh, and you just planted it. That's your COVID garden. I got fungus all over my green beans. It's the worst. Yeah. And Dave's tomatoes are getting some kind of mold or rot. Only the ones closer to the ground. Just so much water everywhere. And then I'm sure the pollen is literally not helping at all either. Just everything, right? I got to my office this morning, and there was a police officer there asking people to not park in a certain place because there was this red car that just pulled up at an angle, blocking someone's driveway, not mine, on the curb, like all just cattywampus, right? And I get there later. I did not see all of this. I got a text about it from some of my staff. And then I get there a couple of hours later, and because I was doing taxes this morning. That's the fun part of owning a business, is all of the bookkeeping and taxes and yay stuff. Even if you have a bookkeeper or a CPA, you still got to dedicate some time to it. So I was doing that here at the house this morning. So I get there a couple of hours later, and this woman comes out, and she's like, "Are you Cooper? Blah, blah, blah." And then she starts telling me the story about, well, my car last night was parked over there. That's not where everyone else had seen it this morning. And for some reason, the police came and towed it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, it was over there because I know what was going on. It was over there when they came and towed it. She's like, I just don't know how it could have ended up over there. And it was like up on the curb, all kinds of, and at an angle, like sticking out into the street sort of. And she's like, I just don't know how it could have happened. I mean, I was in my house the whole night. Maybe someone tried to steal it. And then I'm like, well, in my brain, I'm like, that's not making sense. Because if someone was going to steal your car, they would not drive it 2 spaces forward. Like that to me is like, you left at some point in the middle of the night that you don't have a recollection of, and you did something and you came back and you parked somewhere else. That's what I'm thinking. And then she goes, well, and the police won't give it back to me because it's a suspected hit and run car. And I'm like, ooh, girl, you in trouble. I was like, I wonder if like maybe she was on Ambien or something stronger. Because I've had friends who have taken Ambien and done some crazy shit in the night. Like you hear about people taking Ambien and cooking and waking up and there's like a full meal, dishes for a full meal, like in the kitchen. And they're like, oh, fuck, I just cooked and ate a whole turkey in my sleep. Maybe not a turkey. One time the only time I've taken Ambien is when we were going to South Africa. And I knew I wanted to sleep on the 26-hour flight, and I knew that jet lag kicks my ass. I'm the worst at jet lag. And so I was like, so I got the doctor to prescribe me like 10 tablets, and I tried it out beforehand just to make sure I was not having a reaction. Because last thing I wanted to do is take the first one ever on a 26-hour flight to Cape Town, South Africa, and not lose my mind over the Atlantic, right? So it was all fine. It's the only time I've taken it. I actually don't need sleep aids. I fall asleep pretty easily. Stuart is saying, I take Ambien and eat an entire chocolate cake. That's what I've heard. People are like, where did the ice cream go? Oh, I ate all the ice cream. I have a friend who will remain nameless who one morning I woke up and I look at my phone and I've got a bunch of pretty explicit photos of him. I mean, nothing in the front, but a lot of stuff in the back, all naked on the side. And we don't have that kind of relationship. I mean, I'm hilarious friends with him. We're not sexually attracted to each other. Or at least I didn't think so. And so I'm like, okay. So I call him up and I'm like, hey, I got a bunch of pictures. What are you sending me these pictures for? And he goes, oh my God, not you too. Not you too. So he starts to explain to me that he took Ambien. And so, by the way, Ambien is a sleep aid. So you are supposed, and this is how he explained it to me, you are supposed to take Ambien and then go to bed, and it helps you fall asleep. Ambien does not make you sleepy in the sense of you don't take it and then your body tells you when it's time for bed. You need to go get in bed. Well, he did not realize that. So he takes the Ambien and stays up, and he's like waiting for it to take its effect, right? And it never does. Well, it turns out it did. He doesn't remember doing any of these things, but he sent he did like a little boudoir photo shoot of himself and sent it to his friends. Can you imagine? Oh my God, I cannot even imagine that. But that's what I'm wondering, like, if this woman, people buy things on Ambien. Eric is saying, I took an Ambien and washed it down with a Bacardi and Diet in the Admirals Club. Ooh, girl, at Heathrow. I remember about 10 minutes after that. Then my next memory is waking up 6 hours into the flight. I have no idea how I got to the gate or onto the plane. Oh my goodness. I just cannot imagine. I was terrified to take it the time I did, even on the flight. I wasn't so scared to do it once we were in Africa and we were like in a hotel or a lodge or whatever, because I knew that there were people around me that could take care of me and all that stuff. But on the flight, and I was flying, I made that flight alone because Todd was already there on an MBA class trip, and I was just joining the last 2 weeks of the trip. They were there for 3 weeks. So, like I said, I would have moved and changed my name. Well, technically, he goes by a slightly different name now than he did before. I do not know if that plays into it at all, but that is the thing. And Stuart's saying ambient amnesia is real, causes lots of humor in my house. Sometimes I drink a little too much, and everyone's like, "You already told that story." I'm like, "Really?" Or we're like, "Oh, I booked the trip that you wanted us to," and I'm like, "What trip? I don't recall that." We talked about it last night. I get that a lot, so I can see how that is the case. Was watching TV over the weekend. The things that are considered sports. Now, in this case, so I turn on the TV, and it is for some reason on NBCSN or NBC Sports, something like that, whatever the network is. And I was turning TV on to watch CBS Sunday Morning. And I recorded every Sunday morning and was doing that. But it was on there, and it was, what is it called? Chase Tag World Championships. So basically the game of chase and the game of tag, I kid you not, where they are just running after each other and trying to touch each other, there's a world championship for that. Now, admittedly, there was like a course with all of these like obstacles and stuff that they could hide behind, go run, all that kind of stuff. But so it was super athletic. I mean, they were like flipping and everything, but it was a league. Like there were these teams of grown-ass men. It was all men. Of course, it was all men. Playing chase tag on television. I don't even know what the prize was. I watched maybe like a few rounds of it before it's just basically all the same after that. It's like, this is on national television. And it wasn't like on ESPN 8, the Ocho. I mean, it was on like NBC Sport, NBCSN. Does that sound right? I don't know why I would even know that, but I don't even know why it would have been on that channel anyway. Like no one in my house watches sports, but maybe it was God telling me I need to watch this for some good content today. Jackie is saying, I don't know. Sounds like a convenient excuse to me. You're talking about the amnesia? Yeah. Eating a whole cake, Stuart. Like, how do you find out that you ate the whole cake? Just that it was there one night and it wasn't there the next? Do you put stuff away? I've always wondered that. Like, because like people, so you are cognizant enough like to cook a meal, right? And cognizant enough, cognizant's probably not the right word, but lucid enough, I guess, to cook a meal, measure ingredients, not burn your fucking house down, although I'm sure that's probably happened. Eat the meal, and then do you just get up? Do people just leave all the plates on the table and stuff? Because these things I've read, it's people are like, there were like the leftovers were just all over the place. Like they didn't wash the dishes. Like I'm surprised you didn't, if you're going that far, like you didn't wash the dishes or load the dishwasher or whatever. Yet you were very aware in the moment and have no recollection ever. And he's been videoed. Oh, Jackie's like the naked picture. I feel like it just like I feel like has just got drunk, throw it out there, see who bites, and claim to burn the Ambien or claim the Ambien the next day. Girl, your spell check is all over the place on that. Autocorrect, I mean. Oh yeah. So you're just fishing for stuff and see if anyone bites. Yes. I make amazing new foods too while on Ambien, Stewart is saying. Like actual amazing foods, or are you mixing like bananas and bologna or something? Like what are we doing here? Gosh. I just stuff like that freaks me out. I don't even like taking. Todd takes melatonin at night. Occasionally, I will pop one just to if I am having trouble going to sleep or I know I need to sleep. But then I end up having the nervous wake ups the entire night. Like I'll take a melatonin and I will start waking up at like 2 a.m. every 30 minutes because I'm so worried that I'm not going to wake up in time the next morning for whatever I need to do. Like I am fine with it if I have no plans the next day, but if I'm doing it the night before, I know we need to leave for a trip. Because I already do this. If I know we have a flight to catch and I need to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I've set an alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning, I will start waking up naturally at like 3 o'clock. And then like every 15 to 30 minutes after that, just checking the clock to make sure I didn't miss it. Like the point of the alarm clock is almost moot in that case. Melatonin gave me foot flaps. My feet flapped all night. I rub my legs together, my ankles kind of together. I think Todd calls it like my cricket legs or something to that effect. And that's how he knows that I'm starting to wake up, is because I don't do it in my sleep, but I do it when I start waking up. Hey, Sherry. So let's see. What do you say? I bought some Matthew jelly from Uncertain Texas, and I couldn't figure out what to do with it. Ambien fixed that. That's hilarious. It glazes salmon wonderfully and pairs very well with really strong cheeses. That is crazy. And it's Mayhaw. Is it Mayhaw jelly? Is that what it is? That is hilarious. So you're like creating, like you can write the Ambien Chef's Cookbook, Stuart. Oh my goodness. You know what I would eat an entire package of if I had them, because I already have trouble of not eating a whole package of these as it is. Those mini brownie bites. Do you ever get those? Like I get them at Tom Thumb. Sam sells them also, but they're like that big around, and they're brownies, and they are like the perfect flavor and consistency because they're like all crust on the outside, but there's still enough in the middle that it's soft, and they're so sweet, and it doesn't feel like you're like indulging. Well, you end up eating like 16 of them. That's the problem. But those things are the devil. Well, we bought some. I think I gained 3 pounds this weekend between Dave & Buster's, birthday cake for Mason, a cookie cake, which also I could just tear up a cookie cake, the fundraiser for the school, and then all these brownie bites. They are so good. And then we went for tacos at Taco Deli on Sunday morning. Yum. And last thing is one of Mason's gifts that we bought for him was, so he wanted a tetherball because over the summer, like when we were in the RV and camping, some of these campsites had tetherball places, and then they went to a sleepaway camp, which also had tetherball. So he really, really wanted a tetherball. But we're not getting one because tetherballs have to be mounted, or else you have to have that tacky tire filled with cement that you kind of wheel around. We were not going to have that at our house. And I don't want a pole in my yard that then has like an area around it that is just beat down. The grass is killed because everyone's playing around it. So we got him what we could kind of think the next best thing is, which was this tennis ball tetherball set. And it looks like a little suitcase that you fill with water and you put a pole in it to weigh it down. And then it is it has two of these like almost like racquetball rackets, but they're thick. I don't know why they're thick. And then a ball on a tennis ball on a string, and you just hit it, and it's got like a spiral thing. Either run it all the way to the top or run it all the way to the bottom. That's how you know you won. So you're not trying to get the rope around the pole, so to speak. If you're either trying to run it all the way up or all the way down. Got that. First, he was kind of like, "Oh, I don't know, I don't want it. Like it's not the same thing as tetherball." Turns out it's more fun. I may have permanent shoulder damage from it though, tennis shoulder. Because I was playing it, of course, I beat him every. The key to tetherball in general, being a 6.5 foot tall person, is to either make it go above the other people's heads so they can't even reach it, or just do it so fast that it is too terrifying for them to try to stop it. Because you get it going, and then you're just helping it go. You're not trying to stopping it. Is where it's like up your arm. So fun game. If you have kids who want tetherball, it's called tennis ball tetherball, I think is what it's called. Got it on Amazon. Great thing. Dave is calling those mini brownie bites the holy grail of brownies. Yes, I agree. Lisa gets them. Sherry, yeah, they're so good. I mean, I can literally sit there and eat and eat. And I don't even have a sweet tooth. Here's the thing. I've talked about this before. You could take chocolate away and I'd be like, but you take French fries or potato chips away, I'm fall out on the floor. But those mini brownie bites are the best. So, alrighty. That's all I have got for today. Hope you have a great evening. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watch this. I said I'm not going to drink tonight. We'll see how long that lasts. I got my water here. I say that every night. I'll report back on that tomorrow. Be good to yourself. Don't shoot yourself to death. And I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Shit, I say. Talk to you later. Bye.